been kind of a wet day here in Cincinnati, but things are clearing up as we get set for the third and final game of this three-game series between the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Buccos winning game 2 last night. Central Division standings earlier today, the Cardinals came from behind and defeated the Cubs 4-3. So now the Pirates 5 back and cut it back to 4.5 with a win. The Cubs are 7.5 off the pace. And hi again, everybody. And with John Wehner, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smikowski is with us also. Jay Happ on the hill for the Pirates tonight. And since he made a slight mechanical correction following his first start, John, he's been very, very good, including his last start against the Cardinals.
He's been unbelievably good. Nobody expected this from Jay Happ. The fastball is literally jumping out of his hand. It's getting all over the hitter. He's able to work it down in the zone for strikes. Then when he gets ahead, he goes upstairs for swings and misses. The curveball is also in play. He gets the chase. He also throws that for strikes. Everything's working for him. From the changeup, the fastball is the most impressive thing. It's been explosive.
So Jay Happ has really helped to solidify this Bucco rotation. You look at the numbers since his second start. The team is 16-9. The starter's ERA is under 3. Home runs are down. Average is down 2.
Yeah, a lot has been said about the pitching staff not being as strong since the first half, but it's been pretty good. You look at the last 25 games, ERA just under 3, keeping the ball in the ballpark, which they've done all year long. OPS at 657, all pretty good stuff.
So Jay Happ will take on Kivas Sampson tonight in the third and final game of this series. Andrew McCutchen last night, an opposite field home run. He was clutch. He's had some guys setting the table in front of him. We'll take a look at what the Pirate outfielders are doing to produce runs when we come back. American Ballpark. There's been some rain off and on throughout the course of the afternoon leading into the evening. Hopefully we're all set tonight as the Pirates and Reds play the rubber game. Gregory Polanco last night got on base a couple of times, a couple of solid knocks, and as a result he would score a couple of runs.
Yeah, anytime you got Polanco, Marte up top and they're getting hits, they're getting on base, this team's going to score a bunch of runs. 7 last night. Marte, a message early. That fastball, that's a pretty good swing right there to stay inside, drive it into the opposite gap. ended up with third after an error on that double, but another ground ball single. But the best outfield in baseball, I'm going to say it right here, the Pittsburgh Pirates. And when those two are hot, this guy gets plenty of opportunities.
Barrel Automotive League leader stat. He is second now with runners in scoring position in the National League at .377. Second in slugging percentage. Tied for second in driving in runs with sacrifice flies. Andrew McCutchen has been a producer.
And these numbers are even more impressive because he didn't get many opportunities, didn't drive in any runs for almost 40 at bats since the Miami series. And so you look at it, the average with runners in scoring position, that has to be a career high for him. The slugging, the at bats per RBIs in those opportunities in the home runs. I mean, he's been phenomenal and another MVP type season.
Kutch and the Bucks go for a series win over the Reds here in Cincinnati. Let's take you back to Pittsburgh right now. Rob King is standing by with this game break. Pirates lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Gregory Polanco will lead off. Then Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, Aramis Ramirez. Second career start at first base. Jung Ho Gung since the All-Star break, hitting .314 with 10 home runs, one of them last night. Neil Walker, then Francisco Cervelli catching. Jordy Mercer at short. Jay Happ doing the pitching and batting ninth. Gregory walks to the plate for his first plate appearance tonight against right-hander Kivas Sampson.
Yeah, Sampson, another rookie pitcher, hard thrower, but the numbers have not been good. 2-3, a .668 earned run average. The opponents hit .318 against him. Not a bunch of homers, though. That's one thing. He's kept it in the park. 28 strikeouts in 31 innings. It'll be interesting to see where his command is. If his command's good, he has a chance to have a good game. If it's off and he gets behind the count, could be a short outing for Sampson.
Sampson made his big league debut in relief against the Pirates back at the end of July. And we are underway. 75 degrees here in Cincinnati. It has been as many as 20 degrees warmer than that since we've been here. And there is a shot to left center field by Polanco, and it splits the outfielders. Gregory will head to second base with a leadoff double.
I don't know if anybody's the ball jumps off of anybody's bat as well as it does Polanco when he squares it up. And this rocket, it wasn't but maybe 5 feet to the right of the shortstop Suarez, but he has no chance of getting over there and making a play because that ball was hit so hard.
You ever see that movie?
Polanco pulling into second base with his 29th double of the year. And the Pirates with a man in scoring position, nobody out. Sampson out of the stretch for the first time. Marte bunts. That's in fair ground. Barnhart will throw him out. Sacrifice 2 to 3. And Polanco over to third base. Defensively for the Reds, Billy Hamilton back in the lineup following a shoulder injury, called back up from his rehab stint yesterday. Ivan De Jesus Jr. is in left, Jay Bruce in right. Frazier, Suarez, Phillips, and Votto around the infield with Barnhart catching Sampson. Tucker Barnhart started 2 games ago, did not start last night. Brian Pena caught for him, and now Barnhart out there again. And he has had a lot of innings of work, John, with the absence of Devin Mesoraco this year.
Yeah, that's been a big blow to the Reds, losing Mesoraco for such a long time. But give Barnhart an opportunity as the Reds playing as if this is going to be a low-scoring one, playing in all the way around.
1-0 pitch. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
And the bunt by Marte, I doubt that it was a called sacrifice. I think he probably went out there to maybe try to bunt for a hit. So at the very least to move Polanco up. But once he squared, that ball kind of was chasing him inside, and so just got it down. It looked like a sack, but I think he was looking to bunt for a hit.
Strike 1, pulled foul past third. Andrew McCutchen last night went to the opposite field in the 3rd inning. A 3-run homer. It was home run number 21 for Andrew. Home run number 149 for his career. 2-1 pitch. That's to center field. Polanco will tag. Hamilton will lob it in. Won't even try it. And the Pirates up 1-0 on a sacrifice fly by Andrew McCutchen.
I don't like it. Your 3 outfielders at the top of the lineup. Polanco gets it started with that rope double. Marte moves him up. McCutchen brings him in.
When the Pirates score first, they are 53-12 this year. Sacrifice fly number 9 for Andrew McCutchen, and his 89th run batted in. First baseman Aramis Ramirez. Still seems strange to say it, but that's the case. He takes a strike. Last night for him defensively, not tested very much. Had to catch a couple of balls thrown by Jordy Mercer. Caught a line drive. And Sean Rodriguez came in late defensively for him. But he ended up 0 for 4. Jay Happ waiting to come out to face the top of the Reds order. 2 men out, the 0-2 pitch. And Ramirez goes down swinging. Pirates get a run on a hit. Nobody left. Jay Happ to face the Reds when we return to Cincinnati. Brian Price's Cincinnati Reds come to the plate for the first time, trailing 1-0. Take a look at the Reds lineup. Billy Hamilton at the top, the speedster. Then Ivan DeJesus Jr., Joey Votto batting third. Brandon Phillips in the cleanup spot, hitting .383 this year with 3 home runs against Pittsburgh. Todd Frazier continues his second half struggles. Jay Bruce in right field. Eugenio Suarez is at short. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, hits 8. Kivas Sampson, the pitcher, bats 9th against the lefty Jay Happ.
Monday numbers for Jay Happ. 7th start, 4-1, a 1.57 ERA. He has won each of his last 4, while just giving in those 4 starts up just 1 earned run. Just 2 in his last 5. He's been outstanding.
Hamilton, switch hitter, batting right-handed. Takes a strike. He can get on base a lot of different ways. He will try them all. And let his legs do the rest. Keeping him off base is important. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
And you always like to get 2 strikes on this guy, so you take away that bunt option.
0-2 pitch from Jay. And he strikes out Hamilton. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Got him on 3 pitches.
Overpowering. The fastball. You look at the velocity, it doesn't look like much, but you know, it just jumps, it explodes out of his hand.
Brewers Casino tips to win tonight, Rock.
Yep, they hope Happ stays hot. If he stays as hot as he's been, you know, they're not going to score. Maybe 1 at tops. And get to their pen early. And I mentioned that Kivas Sampson has had his issues. Didn't get through 4 his last time out. Time before that, he only got 4. Last 3 appearances, starts, he's only gone 10 or 11 innings in 3 starts. So good chance we get to that bullpen early.
Ball 1 to DeJesus. DeJesus in left field. We've seen 4 different left fielders now in this series. Tough spot to play. 1 ball and 1 strike to DeJesus with Votto on deck. 1 out, nobody on. Cincinnati half of the first. Pirates up 1-0. Important to get a win here tonight after seeing what the Cardinals did coming back. They hadn't, as Rob King had reported earlier, they hadn't led in the entire series with the Cubs until the 8th inning of that game this afternoon. Cubs were poised for a sweep of the Cardinals, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, it was looking good. You're sitting here thinking, now if that score holds, Pirates win, we go home just 3.5 back.
Strike delivered to DeJesus, and the count is full. Still a lot can happen. Hurdle knows all about what happens in September baseball, going back to his days with the Rockies in 2007, the run they had, one of the more incredible ones. And DeJesus out on strikes looking, and he's still running down the first.
Yeah, Pirates, I think, got a bit of a break on that one.
Bill Welke ringing him up on a pitch that looked a little low.
A little?
Maybe a lot low.
Wow.
Just a bit low. Big strike zone. Joey Votto slaps this one out of play.
Those are the ones you normally get a lot of barking from the dugout, because folks in the dugout can tell up and down. They can't really tell in and out.
Welke behind the plate. Diaz at first. Tom Payne, the umpire, at second. Hoy at third. And it's 0-2 to Votto. Joey having a chat with Bill Welke.
And there's some yelling from the dugout as well.
It started early tonight, Rock.
Yep.
Bottom of the first. 2 outs, base is empty. Votto choking up. Here's the pitch. Up high and in. 1-2.
Notice the chirping. You're always going to get more chirping when your star player gets
a questionable call against him. There wasn't much chirping when DeJesus was rung up.
Tried the breaking ball, missed inside. Votto, his hands on his knees. Watch his front shoulder here.
Yeah, he's all about getting on base. He may be a more productive player if he drives the ball more, especially with nobody on and 2 outs. I'd rather a guy like Joey Votto hit a ball in the gap or out of the ballpark than try to get hit. But, obviously, he's one of those guys that likes to get on base.
Payoff pitch. Fouled off.
And he's really good at that, wasting pitches. Pretty good pitch from Happ right on the inside corner, elevated. See pretty good numbers for the lefty Votto against the lefty Happ.
Jay again will line up the 3-2 pitch with Cervelli. Cervelli creeping to the outer half of the plate. And strike 3 call. Jay Happ strikes out the side of the bottom of the first inning. We'll head to the second. Bucks 1, Reds nothing.
Helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
1-0 Pirates. Top of the second inning. Folks happy with the results so far. Pirates a run on the board, and Jay Happ striking out the side in the bottom of the inning. Got 2 of them looking, DeJesus and Votto, and now Jung Ho at the plate for the first time since hitting a monster home run. Second time, really. He hit one in the 8th inning last night, and that home run that he hit last night might still be going. There were some discrepancies over how far it actually went, but the unofficial distance was far. And it bounced to third base. Frazier throws him out. There's one gone for the Pirates in the second.
Yeah, I think different people compute the distances differently than others. I know the 2 big competing networks had a big back and forth. I don't know if it was a big back and forth, but they kind of disagreed on the distance of that Chris Bryant home run that hit off the top of the scoreboard there in Wrigley.
Yeah, no, one had him 495.
And the other was like 466 or something.
Let's just agree it was hit a long way. Long way. Walker takes a strike. 0-1 to Neal. 264 his average entering play tonight. 13 home runs and 57 runs batted in. And the pitch from Sampson. That is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kivas Sampson out of Ocala, Florida, was offered a scholarship to Florida State and ended up turning it down. Signed with the Padres.
Trying to figure things out at the big league level. He got off to a decent start.
1-2 pitch. Down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He hasn't done a ton of walks. 13 walks in 28 innings coming into tonight. So now 29 in the 3rd innings.
And a bouncer right back into the glove of Sampson. 2 men out. 2 out. Cervelli coming up. Pirates take on the Brewers this Friday. 7:05. The first 20,000 get a Pirates t-shirt. Compliments of your Western Pennsylvania Toyota dealers. Enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Leinenkugel bar before the game at the Friday night block party on Federal Street, presented by Barrel Automotive. Pirates.com/free shirt Friday for tickets. Just a rehearsal there for Sampson. 2 outs, nobody on, and the pitch to Cervelli. This one's fouled out of play. Cervelli took a foul ball off a knee last night. Right there, ouch. And when Clint Hurdle went out to talk to him, he and Todd Tomczyk, Francisco's native language is Spanish, although he speaks English exceptionally well, and he couldn't come up with a word for numb. And he kept stumbling over it, and he said, finally came up with my legs asleep.
Well, that's good. Same thing.
Yeah. So Clint said, oh, you mean it's numb? He said, yeah, that's it. And he said, just give me 3 minutes. I'm fine. And he walked it off and stayed in the game for a bit, although Stewart would finish the game. But he is back at it again tonight. Full of energy, this guy. One, 2. Side 2-2.
I'd want to go against him. The next one goes his way is more to do with how the catcher caught it, the missed location than anything, but clearly in the zone.
Count full. Sampson, over his last 5 starts, has had an ERA of an even 9. It's pretty high. Payoff pitch. Ball 4, and Cervelli is aboard with 2 outs.
They're trying to get a chase. Not happening. That's the one guy you're not going to get chase very often, Cervelli. Always locked in, always competing in the box. Never tries to do too much, but Sampson, known to throw a lot of pitches. In fact, throws the most per inning. Anyone in baseball. Over 20, almost 21 pitches per inning in his young career.
Strike 1 to Jordy Mercer. Well, the league average pitches per inning is about 15, so he's well over. Talking about 21 pitches an inning.
And the next most, Ross Detweiler, 19.8. So.
Uh-oh. Excuse me. And Mercer is out. I didn't mean to do that. No runs, no hits, 1 left. Inning and a half in the books. 1-0 Pirates. weekend when we take you to Morgantown for WVU's second game of the season. See Dana Holgerson and his Mountaineers square off against the Liberty Flames, kicking off live Saturday at 3 on Root Sports. Big win for the Mountaineers in their first ball game. UPMC scoreboard has the Pirates in front 1-0 heading to the bottom of the second inning. Brandon Phillips, Todd Frazier, Jay Bruce set to face Jay Happ. No matter where you go in this ballpark, you're going to find black and gold. It's the way it's been here this entire series.
It's been kind of a friendly series so far.
Usually there's some tension.
Well, no carryover from the last time we visited Cincinnati.
Pitch to Phillips. All up high. Phillips, one of the leaders in hits since the All-Star break. Batting .295 overall. One ball and one strike to Brandon Phillips.
Pretty good numbers, great numbers actually against Jay Happ in his career. Hits in half of his at bats, 3 leaving the park.
1-1. And that ball will be foul. Left the bat fair, but ended up twisting into foul ground. So that's a strike. 1-2. Phillips went 2 for 4 with 2 singles last night. .588 hits in his career. Francisco Liriano had his 6th double-digit strikeout game of the season last night. 22 career games, a good number. Picked up win number 10. 178 strikeouts for him now. And Garrett Cole down with 175, and last night, once Liriano went over 175 strikeouts, they became the first Pirate teammates to record 175 strikeouts or more together in a single season. A soft liner to Walker, and there's one out.
Which is pretty hard to believe, the long storied history of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Good chance that they both end up with 200. Always a milestone for most pitchers.
Garrett celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday. Had a good seat for Liriano's gem. Todd Frazier went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts last night. We've seen some odd swings out of him in this series. Liriano inducing a few last night. There's another one there.
Pulling off, pulling off. Look at those numbers. The difference between the first half and the second half. Across the board. Average, home runs, RBIs.
This one's well hit. McCutchen will watch it go, and this is a tie ball game. Frazier's 5th home run of the second half, his 31st of the year.
And that's just good hitting. That's not a bad pitch from Jay Happ. It's an off-speed pitch, and this is when Frazier's good. This is the type of pitch that he can hit and drive. I mean, that's a changeup, down and away. I mean, that's a pretty good location. He's off that front foot. A real easy, effortless-looking swing. Sends it 5 rows deep into center.
'76th RBI for Frazier. The 0-1 pitch to Jay Bruce, swing and a miss.
Okay.
1-2 now to Bruce.
Yeah, I don't have the the data on Frazier I had last night. That pitch right there, that down and away, is a pitch that he hit very well in the first half of the season. And like if you look at what he did on inside, middle, away, and then they have up, down, middle. The down and away pitch from the first half to the second half was a huge difference. Much worse in the second half.
Popped him up, middle of the diamond. And Ramos Ramirez will call for it. He gets there and records the out.
So few fans here. You could hear him plain as day through the crowd mic calling for that.
Pedro knows what he's going through in terms of transitioning from one side of the infield to the other. Eugenio Suarez, a shortstop. Strike one to Suarez. Well, Suarez's night last night. Strikes out swinging 4 straight times, then comes up in the 9th and hits a 2-run triple.
Just given those numbers that I had last night, the first half of the season, Todd Frazier hit 289 on pitches away. Second half, 114. His slugging in the first half, 509 on pitches away. Second half, 216. I mean, those are worlds apart.
He put a swing on that ball like he did in the first half of the season. 1-2 right there. Call strike 3. 4th strikeout for Happ. 3rd one looking. Todd Frazier's 406-foot home run ties the game.
Seats hanging out with the newest member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is forward Eric Fehr, who's making the trip all the way from Manitoba, driving to Pittsburgh for the beginning of training camp. Stopped here in Cincinnati to watch a baseball game. And Pittsburgh fans, Eric, may not know much about you. You're a pretty big baseball fan. What can you tell us about your baseball knowledge?
Well, I'm a big Blue Jays fan, but I got a new National League favorite team, and that's going to be the Pirates. So excited to see the Pirates tonight, and haven't had a chance to watch a game at the Great American Park, so thought we'd stop in, watch a game, and head down to Pittsburgh tomorrow. So
you're going to finish it, start your first year with the Penguins. What excitement level do you have just coming in from as an opposing player with the Washington Capitals to play in front of those fans at the Consol Energy Center?
Obviously, playing with Washington for a number of years, you realize how hostile the environment can be at the Consol Energy Center, and I'm pretty excited to join the other side and just play some hockey for some passionate fans. So I'm really excited and can't wait to get started.
Have you ever been to PNC Park in are you looking forward to going there if you haven't had the chance yet?
I have been to PNC Park, actually. One time the Capitals landed a little early. I walked over the bridge, watched the game. They're obviously a beautiful stadium, and I'm hoping to check a few games out this year and hopefully a playoff game.
All right, now you're coming off elbow surgery. You're not going to be ready for the start of the season, but how are you coming along and how are you feeling?
Elbow feels great. It's reacting a lot better than I thought it was going to. It's responded well to the workouts so far, so I'm definitely encouraged with the way things have gone, and just try to strengthen it and try to get ready and get a little bit better every day.
Okay, so now you brought a couple people with you. To my right here, this is Justin Fair, Eric's brother, making the trip with him along the drive. And this is Justin Falk. He's a defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. What are you teaching these guys about the sport of baseball?
To be honest, Justin here might know a little bit more than me about baseball, but we follow the game pretty closely, and we'll take my brother under our wing here and teach him a few things today. But we love watching the game. It's a beautiful night tonight, so we're just excited to be here.
So a Jays fan, you converted your brother and Justin into Pirates fans. Is that right, Eric? It's a yes or no question.
Yes. Yeah, National League for sure. I mean, Jays are obviously through and through. That's in the blood. But National League's up for grabs, and the Pirates are a real exciting team and a hometown team now. So it's going to be fun.
Eric, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tim Neverett, the newest Penguin. Eric Fair, favorite National League team at least, the Buccos.
That's okay. Eventually it'll be favorite overall. It does get out of the blood over time, but looking forward to seeing him skate up and down the ice for the Pens. See a lot more of Eric Fair this year right here on Root Sports. And the Pens get going soon.
It's amazing. Yeah, that hockey season seems longer than the baseball season, doesn't it?
It does. It can. 0-2 to Polanco. He bounces this one right on the line. Votto makes the play, and he wins the foot race to the bag. 3 unassisted on the putout, and 2 gone. Another look at this down the line. Looked like it went over the bag right there. And Laz Diaz, the umpire, right on it.
Good shot of that.
2 out for the Pirates in the top of the 3rd inning. Jay Happ is flying to left. Polanco's grounded out now. Starling Marte get credit for a sacrifice bunt in the first. Pitch outside.
I'm surprised, and I'm going to guess that it's going to have to be mandatory at some point where you have cameras that can show you that angle right down the line, both first and third.
It'd be a good shot. Be helpful on some plays like such as that one. Tay swings through another fastball. Kivas Sampson with 2 strikes on Marte. Starling awaits the 1-2 pitch. And it's a check swing roller right to Sampson. And he'll just take it himself. And the Pirates go very quietly in the top of the 3rd inning. Head to the home half of the 3rd when we come back to Cincinnati.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks.
Well, Todd Frazier's home run tied the game last inning. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. And the number 8 hitter, switch hitting catcher Tucker Barnhart, takes a strike from Jay Happ. Final game of this 9-game road trip. There's 3 in Milwaukee, 3 in St. Louis, and 3 here. 4-game series beginning tomorrow night at PNC Park with the Milwaukee Brewers. Pirates will be home for a week or so. As Barnhart taps this one. Foul. And out on the road for 3 more cities and back for 2, and finishing up the regular season with these Reds. Rocky, look at the record, 82-55 last year at this time after 137 games. 11 games better, 11 games worse actually. 71-66. Pirates are 11 games better this year at this point than they were a year ago.
It's really amazing. You know, the first half, especially the Pirates, just never really got off to that good run that spark them or elevate them too far over 500, and so they were always hovering like a handful of games or so above 500 until this time of year.
And the talk about a winning season is kind of old news, as Andrew McCutchen said last night. So it's nice and everything, but that's not what it's all about anymore. Straight winning season. September 9th, 2013. The Pirates defeated the Rangers. Garrett Cole out pitching Yu Darvish in Arlington, clinching the first winning season since 1992. 2 years ago to the date. And that was a coming out party for Garrett Cole. What a night he had.
Boy, that was something else. Yeah, that was, you know, we went into Texas. I remember thinking that, man, this is going to be a tough series. And Yu Darvish was having a great year.
He won game number 81. That guaranteed a non-losing season. And then the Pirates had lost 4 games in a row. And then he won that one. Up in the air to right field. Off the bat of Barnhart. Polanco finding it. There's one out for the Reds in the third inning. Take a look at our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. On this date, 1991, the Bucks beat the Cubs 12-10 at Wrigley Field in a wild one, trailing by 2 in the 9th. Orlando Merced hit a pinch hit 3-run home run to give the Bucks the lead. Bobby Bonilla homered, drove in 3, and Jay Bell also homered and went 4 for 4 at the dish as the Bucks pounded out 16 hits in that win. Here's Kivas Sampson at the plate, taking a strike. One ball and 1 strike. Jay went 4 for 4 that night. Now he's in the other colors. Bench coach for the Reds, Jay Bell. One ball, 2 strikes to Sampson. And Jay Happ's 1-2 delivery. Oh, watch out. That almost got hitting coach Don Long, who was in the stairway of the dugout.
Todd Frazier, too.
That's pretty good.
Boy, that's a tough spot to be. Remember in 2008 at Dodger Stadium, Don got hit by a broken bat when he was the hitting coach for the Pirates. Got hit in the face while standing in a similar location. Hasn't deterred him. One out, base is empty, and the 1-2 pitch from Jay struck him out. Sampson goes down looking. 5 strikeouts for J. Happ, 4 of them looking.
And that life on that fastball.
The order turns over to the top. Billy Hamilton coming up for the second time. He struck out swinging on 3 pitches in the bottom half of the first inning. The corner infielder's in for Hamilton, who shortens up, takes a ball. Hamilton's amazing to watch run the bases. He's got to get on first, though. He's thinking about the bunt. Now it's 2-0.
It looked as if he was looking to push the bunt, which with the lefty up there, you see a lot of speedsters try to go to the first base side and then race the pitcher to the bag.
He fouls off this bunt attempt. Remember Don Long? We'll go in the Wayback Machine. This was April 15th, 2008. Got 10 stitches as he was hit by that bat. Ouch.
Yeah, actually quite lucky. I mean, it's obviously unlucky to get hit with a bat, but lucky once you do that it's just a cut.
Leave too much of a scar. Two and two, the count to Hamilton. Count goes full to him.
I always wondered a guy like Hamilton, especially struggling and hitting just 226, doesn't draw a lot of walks. You know, why doesn't he try to bump with 2 strikes? You know,
that's a good point. He goes down looking. Another strikeout for J. Happ. And another one looking. All but one have watched it go by. Stay after the game for a Zambelli fireworks show courtesy of Yuengling Oktoberfest. Plus, everyone takes home great prizes on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. It's a big weekend, 4-game set with the Brewers beginning tomorrow. Fireworks Saturday. Looking forward to that. 1-1. Pirates and Reds on the UPMC scoreboard. Billy Hamilton, the latest strikeout victim of J. Happ. He has struck out 6. Hamilton has gone down on strikes twice tonight. 0 for 2. Kivas Sampson starts his 4th inning of work. He hasn't pitched more than 4 innings. in any of his last 4 games, and he gets a swinging strike from McCutchen to begin the inning. Oh, 1 pitch to Kutch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sampson's given up just 1 hit. It was a leadoff double to Gregory Polanco in the first inning. Ooh, McCutchen fooled by the breaking ball.
Ball was hanging as it came into Andrew, but stayed on the inside part of the plate. Leave that over the middle. Andrew can hit that one a long way.
Strikes him out looking.
Maybe looking soft, Andrew. Is that fastball? Good pitch, good location. Fold him a bit.
Ramis Ramirez takes a strike. Now the book on Sampson, at least the report we got before the game, is that he does not throw a lot of strikes, gets behind hitters. And what we've seen hasn't really been the case tonight.
Yeah, he's had pretty good command. Doesn't mess around. He works fast. I mean, he gets it, and gets his sign, and goes.
Barnhart setting up outside. 2-1 pitch. Ramirez grounds it to the right side. Votto is there. 2 men out. So 2 gone for the Bucks now in the 4th inning. And we want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PitDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Show you the photo later, at least one. I'm sure some Pirate fans have many strong fan photos from Cincinnati and their trip here. 2 outs for Jung Ho. He takes up high ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes.
Are you sitting right here?
Jung Ho grounded out to 3rd in the 2nd inning.
Keep trying, because he'll give one to you.
Pitch.
Wow, that was called high as a ball, number 1. That was wow.
And then the second one's called a strike that's off the plate in.
All right, so the count's right. That was a makeup call there. 1-1. Now it's 1-2.
That's good location, that hard slider right on the bottom of the zone, outer half of the plate.
And Jung Ho waves at that one. 7 in a row set down by Kiva Sampson. And we're even at 1. Update last night. Christopher Negron, who was just called up yesterday, just put in the game. First play he made, robbing Starling Marte of a hit, ends up with a shoulder injury. Originally told to us as a partially separated shoulder, but worse than that, needs surgery, and his season ends a lot earlier. So he is now no longer going to be active for the rest of the year. In the meantime, Ivan De Jesus Jr. will play left field. It was a great catch, but he paid a price for it.
Yep, that was a heck of a play. Unfortunate. He just came up.
And was put in the ball game because Adam Duvall had a knee contusion and was taken out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Happ with 6 strikeouts through 3 innings.
You see the velocity. It's just 90 miles per hour, but it looks so much harder. You know, that swing by De Jesus very late. Fouled that off real deep in his stance.
2-1. The only run for the Reds, a solo home run for Todd Frazier in the 2nd inning. Pirates got a run in the 1st on a sacrifice fly by McCutchen, scoring Polanco from 3rd after Gregory's double. Each team with only 1 hit. Last night, offense not a big problem for the Pirates. They had 11 hits with 7 runs up. This one down the right field line. That is going to be a fair ball. 1 hopper for Polanco. It's a leadoff single for De Jesus. 2nd hit of the game for the Reds.
The first one left the ballpark, so this will be the first batter that Happ faces out of the stretch. Pretty good hitting there by De Jesus, going the other way. Well, Pirates played him that way, and that's why Polanco was able to get over there and keep him to a single.
Votto went down looking in the 1st. Takes ball 1 low. Well, if Votto has done in the 1st half what he did in the 2nd half, we might be talking about him as an MVP candidate. 2nd half number is tremendous in terms of getting on base, OPS. 1-1 to Votto. He'll be 32 years old tomorrow. Last night went 0 for 3. He had a season high 10-game hitting streak going. Now that's by the boards for Votto.
The opposite of Todd Frazier in terms of production. 1st half, 2nd half. Not a bad 1st half, but great 2nd half.
A strike to Votto. Now he's chatting with Bill Walke.
I have to assume that he must get on the nerves of a lot of umpires, because he seems to complain a heck of a lot. And again, he has a good eye. He likes drawing his walks. But you would think the way he's acting, that this pitch was a foot outside.
Well, the next one might be, and it might be a strike. The way he's chirping with Welke, behaving toward the umpire.
And it's not even out of the strike zone. It's right on the outside edge.
And down on strikes goes Votto, and he'll have a little word on the way out. He's struck out twice. Strikeout number 7 for Jay Happ.
Coming right at him, elevating the fastball, and Votto just trying to foul it off. Awkward looking swing. Not your fault, Joey. At least in your mind.
Whose fault is it?
Oh, he thinks it was the umpire's fault.
At the end of the day, you got to go with the guy with the bat in his hand, right? He's the one responsible. Brandon Phillips looking down at Jim Riggleman, coaching at third. Phillips, a soft line drive to Walker in the second inning. To Jesus at first, and one man out. This Point Park University tweet from KB Golf. Rock, do the umps ever admit off the record between innings that they missed a call?
They'll sometimes admit it right away. I mean, there's times where, you know, they might call pitch a strike and you turn around and it's like, what? Oh, I missed that one. They'll tell you right away when they miss it if they think that they missed it. I mean, it's not often, but it has happened. I don't think they have a problem admitting that they made a mistake from time to time.
But what about when they try to get even and you know it?
Oh, I don't think that happens very often. I really don't. I don't think they hold grudges. There are certain guys have done it in the past, but I don't think it's very common.
Or a borderline pitch, or maybe a pitch just a little off the plate, and they'll say, I better give him a strike this time.
Well, again, I mean, I think they have a short memory. There are times where if a hitter's up there and he's barking and barking and barking at a borderline pitch, and you throw the same borderline pitch, they're going to call it again. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, but I think they're very professional. They're very good at their jobs, and you know, it's like I said. I don't think have they never held grudges. I would say no. That there are some certain umpires that have held grudges, but I think for the most part, you know, they want to get the job right. They want to get the call right. But they will, on occasion, admit their mistakes.
1-2 to Brandon Phillips. Fouls it off. Back in the day when the leagues had separate umpires, you saw the same guys a lot, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was, I didn't, the whole American League, when they had American League, National League guys, you didn't know any of the American League guys except for the rare time you played interleague games, but never had them enough to get to know them. But most of these guys, you get to know the umpires, especially infielders.
Ground ball to third. That's a fair ball. Jung Ho's got one play, and he gets Phillips at first.
And that may have looked like a routine play. That was not a routine play. That ball just stayed down. Jung Ho Kang as an infielder, you're expecting this two-hopper, and then that last hop, for whatever reason, it just hugged the ground. This will be a great. You're expecting this to come up around thigh high, hits the lip of the grass, and stays right on the ground. And because of that, he had to kind of adjust, go down. I don't think he had a great handle on the ball when he first grabbed it, and I think that's why he decided just to get the short out at first.
Some style points for Ramirez with a leg kick.
Ramirez just trying to get out of the way. Curious to see what it looks like when he has to stretch for a ball.
Frazier up for the second time, 1 for 1 with a home run.
I don't worry too much about him picking balls either. I mean, he's got good hands. Haven't seen him with one of those opportunities yet.
Pitch way outside. Good catch by Francisco Cervelli. De Jesus staying put at second base.
Wanted that in. One of the few times Happ has missed his target by a wide margin there.
Two outs and a 1-1 count to Todd Frazier. Near to right, playable for Polanco. Gregory will make the catch, and that'll do it for the Reds. No runs, a hit. One man left. On to the fifth inning. Pirates 1, Reds 1.
In fact, some guys coming into Cincinnati Sunday night into Monday, they had their fantasy football draft. Jared Hughes is this year's commissioner who took over for Tony Watson. Neil Walker's a big part. He's got probably the coolest name of anybody in the Pirates Fantasy Football League, the Walkie Talkies. Garrett Cole had the first pick. He went with Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson. Walker, by the way, did pick 6th overall, and he took Antonio Brown to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, a little bit of hometown flavor there. And there's Travis Snyder, who, if you don't know by now, is a pretty big Seattle Seahawks and NFL football fan, and far and away the biggest trash talker, Tim and John, in the entire Fantasy Football League. So a 10-man league. We'll keep you all updated. Last year's winner, by the way, is Brent Morrell, and he is not here to defend his title. So we'll have a new champion, and that guy, I'm sure, will let us all hear about it if he does it again this year.
Yeah, I wonder how many Seahawks he's going to have on his roster. It's his team. Went to the Super Bowl. He had team function with the Orioles after the trade. But he already had Super Bowl tickets. So he went to the Super Bowl.
Don't blame him.
We know who Walker's team is.
Unless that function was a mandatory thing, then I would blame him.
That might have been partially mandatory, apparently. But Walker's team gets to play Thursday night, tomorrow night.
So some of our stuff is partially mandatory?
Unless they tell you differently.
Partially mandatory?
We don't know the Orioles rules. We know our rules.
That's like ferocious, partially mandatory.
Well, for those who don't know what ferocious is, that's a word that John brought to the table. It's not in the dictionary, but maybe next year's edition it might be. That comes from Carrick.
That's a really bad play when it's ferocious.
It's got to be super bad. There's a bouncer off the glove of Phillips and into right field, and Walker aboard. Well, the Pirates have a man aboard here to start the 5th inning.
It's pretty rare to have Brandon Phillips get glove on ball and not make a play. It happened last night as well. And with a little in-between hop, a little more difficult. Trying to glove it behind him.
Base hit for Walker. Pirates with their 2nd hit of the night. Cervelli takes a strike. Now, when you know the strike zone might be a little bigger than normal, do you go up there still the same approach, looking for a certain pitch, certain location, or do you have to be aware of that as the count grows?
Yeah, you got to be aware of it when you get to 2 strikes. I mean, you never want to go up there and think about going after borderline pitches out of the zone early in the count. I mean, once you get to 2 strikes, you have to be aware of it, and you might have to extend or expand a little bit. But yeah, up until 2 strikes, you should keep the same approach. See those 2 pitches well down out of the zone, one of them being called a strike.
Kivas Sampson pitching to Francisco Cervelli here in the 5th inning. This one's chopped back to the backstop. This is the 40th straight start by a rookie pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. It's the 2nd longest streak in history, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. The longest streak, 41 starts. 1902 St. Louis Cardinals. That is all time since 1900, modern era of baseball. Reds are going to shatter that record. Cervelli in the air to center. Backpedaling is Hamilton. Walker challenging his arm. He overthrows second base. Well, the sights aren't quite set for Billy Hamilton after coming off the disabled list with a shoulder injury.
We got nice applause anyhow. He's telling his man at second base, get up, jump.
Yeah, right. He would have needed a trampoline to catch that. 1-1 the score, 2 hits apiece. Walker aboard and Mercer takes strike 1. Jordy had a check swing and the ball went into fair territory. A couple of feet in front of the plate. Barnhart scrambled out there and then threw him out. Oh, 1 pitch. Popped up. Shortstop Suarez waiting under it. There are 2 men out. This Sunday, the Bucks take on the Brewers at 1:35. All kids 14 and under take home a Pirate Parrot cuddle-up pillow, thanks to Highmark. Get to the ballpark early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids run the bases, courtesy of the original pizza logs. For tickets, pirates.com. Jay Happ bounces one foul for strike 1. Happ flied to left field in the 3rd inning. And in his last start against the Cardinals, got his first hit of the season. And an opposite field blooper to left. Although as time goes on, he might remember that as a line shot.
Yeah.
Oh, 0-2 to Jay Happ. And he strikes out. So Kivas Sampson gets through 5. He is deeper in a ball game than he has been in some time.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Along with John Wehner, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smikowski with us as well. Jay Bruce swings and misses at the Jay Happ offering. That's 0-1. The hunt for black and gold October is on.
It's a good one.
That was a good one there for strike 2. But Hurdle hoping to make it 3 Bucktobers in a row. And how about that? Bruce goes down quickly.
And just challenging, really. It's just see if you can hit this fastball. PMC Sports Medicine strike zone right down Main Street. And you can see Cervelli wanted it outside. He had to backhand it. Got away with one there. And again, that life of the fastball for Jay Happ.
8 strikeouts for him now. That ball ricochets over to Walker. And Eugenio Suarez is out. Like that ball hit the side of the mound. Didn't look like it hit Happ, did it?
No, and that's a frustrating at bat. You hit a ball hard up the middle, just what you're trying to do. That's the plan. And not only is it hit the mound, it pops up nicely for Neil Walker. Ends up being like a one-hopper. Easy play. Well, maybe it did catch him right in the back of that. Maybe the left shoe, I think, maybe is what made it pop up to Neil Walker.
2 out quickly. Tucker Barnhart takes a strike.
So we're have to add an assist there for Jay Happ.
You're right. 1-4-3 instead of the 4-3. 0-1 delivery. 1 ball, 1 strike. Happ with 8 strikeouts. He has matched his total from his last outing on the 4th at St. Louis. And his season high is 9. That was on the 28th of April at Texas while pitching for Seattle. Two strikes to Barnhart.
And Happ has had some success. Obviously, his numbers from Seattle weren't great when he became a Pirate, but he got off to a good start in Seattle. You look at his first 7 starts, 6 of the 7, he allowed 2 earned runs or less.
2-2. Struck him out. 9 strikeouts is tied his season high, and we're through 5 fulls, still even at a run apiece. The pinnacle of the All-Star game and bypassing Hall of Famers on the all-time strikeout list. Journey across an emotional final season with the man they call Batman on Inside Pirates Baseball. A.J. Burnett, bat turn tonight after postgame on Root Sports. A.J. will make his return to the rotation tomorrow night at PNC Park against Willie Peralta and the Brewers. In the meantime, Jay Happ has struck out a season-high 9. Whiffs 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. And is on a roll again.
Carving them up. Again, the velocity numbers aren't where we've seen them, but the life on that fastball, the swing and miss fastball, is there once again.
Well, Happ pretty good in the pitches department, too. 78 pitches. Kiva Sampson begins the 6th. He's been more efficient, though. 65 pitches for the rookie right-hander. Top of the order up for the Pirates. Polanco doubled and scored in the first. He lays down a bunt. It's fouled. Barnhart touched it in foul ground. Nearly tackled by the turf monster. What a good divot in the grass out in front of the plate. That will be strike one for Polanco. Lost his footing here. There's another base hit for Polanco. Leadoff single for Gregory. Third hit of the night for the Bucks.
He tied up just a little bit. You see the target in. It was not as in as much as he wanted it to be, but it was up. And Polanco, man, he's really shortened up that swing since earlier in the year. He and Jeff Branson, the hitting coach, working so hard on that swing, those long limbs.
Well, nobody out. Man at first base for Starling Marte, who is 0 for 1. Sacrifice bunt of the first. Polanco, 23 steals on the year. Pitches in the dirt. Will Polanco try to get himself in scoring position? Done it a number of times this year. One ball and no strikes, the count to Starling Marte. Throw to first. That one almost thrown away.
Was getting low, had to reach up. Comes right at Marte at 90 miles per hour. Gets the swing and a miss.
Sampson waiting for the sign from Barnhart. Polanco off of first. Sampson will step off.
I have to say, this is the best start to this point of Sampson's young career. He did go 6 back on August 8th and allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. It wasn't nearly as efficient, and he's still at 69 pitches.
Throw to first again. Sampson had been lit up in recent starts. Tonight, as you mentioned, this is perhaps his best. Polanco creeping off of first. There he goes. Pitch taken low. The throw is high, and Polanco is in with a stolen base.
And you could tell he was itching to go. He was leaning a little bit before Sampson came to the plate. A good jump. And Sampson's pretty quick to the plate, but the big jump. Good hard slide right into the bag.
Gregory able to keep that trail leg on it. Ryan Price was up on the top step of the dugout. The Reds were looking at it. Gregory's been caught before with the leg just barely losing contact in the past. Actually, if I think about it, it might have been the Reds that caught him. He was able to keep contact with the base that time as Phillips held the tag on it. Still nobody out. A 2-1 pitch coming to Marte. Two and two.
Starling, you can tell, trying to stay inside, Trying to do what he did back in the first inning by moving Polanco up to third. Did it with a bunt. Then he's going to have to do it with the swing here.
Go ahead run at second. 2-2 delivery from Sampson to Marte. National League stolen base leaders. Gregory Polanco just behind Marte. He's tied for 6th. Billy Hamilton leads the league with 54. D. Gordon of Miami with an even 50. Smacked foul off the front of the Pirates dugout. Still 2-2 to Starling.
They're really trying to pound him in, trying to keep him, Marte, from hitting the ball to the right side.
Polanco off second. You know, the Pirates haven't stolen a base in almost a week.
Wow.
First steal since the 3rd of September at Milwaukee. Popped up in the infield. Shortstop Eugenio Suarez will make the catch, and there's one down. And Marte is 0 for 2. Got way under it.
See if Andrew McCutcheon could do what he's done very well to this point this year. Drive in runners in scoring position.
Kutch got Polanco in on a sacrifice fly in the first inning. 24 career home runs against Cincinnati, the most by any player in the majors, starting with the 2009 season. And for McCutcheon, the most against any other ball club. Each of his last 2 home runs have been 3-run blasts. 1-0 the pitch coming from Kiva Sampson. Oh, he'll turn and look at second base. Red's not too serious about that. Nobody came over to cover. Phillips didn't even move.
And Sampson, you know, maybe thinking Polanco's going, and if Polanco, which you would do running from second to third, you would move and take off first move. And so, you know, Sampson was just thinking maybe Polanco would be trying to take off with 1 out. The inside move, you get him caught in between, but Sampson's pretty quick to the plate, even at second base with a runner at second. So he'd be very difficult to steal third on. He'd have to definitely get a walking lead. I don't think he'd be able to steal third starting stationary.
Sam LeCure is starting to warm up for the Reds. .3-0 to McCutcheon with Polanco off second base, and he walked him. McCutcheon will head down to first. 2 on and 1 out for Aramis Ramirez. Like Sampson didn't want much anything to do with McCutcheon in that at bat.
No, definitely pitching around him.
Sampson struck out Ramirez in the first inning, then got him to ground out to first in the 4th. Aramis Ramirez made each of his first 2,096 career appearances in the field at third base before starting at first last night. Starting at first again tonight. 2 on, 1 out. And this one smacked to left field. Polanco will get held at third base. Throw comes in from DeJesus. And now the bases are loaded with one out.
Ramos Ramirez loves to hit with runners in scoring position and doesn't waste any time. Gets a fastball that's riding into the inner half of the plate, turns it around. Left fielder DeJesus was somewhat shallow, got to it quickly, got rid of it quickly, kind of forced Rick Sofield to put on the brakes.
Pico, pitching coach, comes out to visit with Kivas Sampson. Pirates now threatening in the 6th inning. One out and the bases full of Bucks. Sampson getting set to face Jung Ho. 7 of Jung Ho's 12 hits against the Reds this year have gone for extra bases, including a double and a home run last night. One out, 3 on, and Sampson in a 1-1 ball game getting set to pitch to Jung Ho. Strike 1.
Good location there. 83 right on the edge.
2 for 6 with the bases full this year. One ball, one strike. Jung Ho's 10 home runs since the All-Star break, 3rd most among National League rookies, behind Kyle Schwarber of the Cubs and Chris Bryant, also of the Cubs. Schwarber has 12. Bryant has 11 since the break. Two balls and a strike.
Get the impression of Jung Ho Kang as a quick study, a fast learner. And you know, you give him a couple of at bats. Now this is the 3rd at bat of the game here against Sampson. That, you know, he has a game plan. Big chance, big opportunity. Probably frustrated a little bit that he couldn't do more with that pitch, with that good bat speed, challenging him on the inside part of the plate. Actually wanted it away. It tailed back inside to Jung Ho.
1-1 game, 1 out, 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one's hammered to left field, way back. Jung Ho and a grand slam. The first career grand slam for Jung Ho Kang. And he comes through with the sacks full. And the Pirates lead it 5-1.
You can't keep messing with Jung Ho Kang in there. You might be able to throw one in there now and again. You can't go in there 2, 3, 4 straight times. This guy has as much bat speed as anybody. Obviously has the big power. We've seen that. Last night especially, where he went way deep here at Great American Ballpark. But for whatever reason, Tucker Barnhart and his pitcher, Kivas Sampson, kept wanting to go inside, inside, inside. And he got away with one 2-1, but not 2-2.
Home run number 15 for Jung Ho Kang.
Well, they set up in there too. They wanted it in there, probably wanted it off the plate. It was right on the edge.
Saw the reaction of the catcher Barnhart. He knew by the sound off the bat that that ball was gone. Watch again.
No doubter. Jung Ho Kang knows how to hit.
He's checking things off of his list, isn't he?
In a hurry. Yep.
First major league grand slam. And it's the first grand slam of the season for the Pirates, and it comes in game number 138. Pirates are one of 3 teams not to have one. Tampa Bay Rays and the Texas Rangers don't have a grand slam. Let's look at the pitch by pitch of this at bat.
Sampson gets ahead with that fastball in, goes in off the plate, down, in. That's the one where Jung Ho was figuring should have got to, and he went right on top of it. Backed it up in there. Jung Ho cleared the hips.
And Neil Walker takes a trot down to first base. And Brian Price is going to take a trot out of the first base dugout and relieve him of duty.
His pitching line's not going to look that great, but Sampson threw the ball pretty well here tonight. Threw 5, allowing just the 1 run, and the Bucks get to him here in the 6th.
Pitching change in Cincinnati. 5-1 Pirates. Seventh allowed by Reds pitching this season.
Once again, the pitch by pitch. Inside, takes it. That one he knows he's off the plate, down on here. This one here, it just didn't look like his hips got through quite early enough. A little late with the lower half. Watch how early the hips get through on this one. That belly button facing the pitcher before the hand started towards that pitch. Clear the hips and send it a dozen rows deep.
Sam LeCure takes over now for Kivas Sampson. LeCure has spent the bulk of the season in Louisville in AAA. Only 8 appearances here in the big leagues this year. Facing Cervelli. And Francisco hits one deep to left, but not deep enough as De Jesus will get over there and make the catch. Walker runs back to first base. 2 men out for the Pirates. Boy, thinking about this, Rock, the last Pirate Grand Slam, you got to go back to last April when Ike Davis showed up.
Oh, wow.
Ike Davis had one on the 21st of April against the Reds.
Mike Leake, right?
Yeah. So
that was his second one of the year off of Mike Leake, actually.
It was, because he hit one with the Mets to win a game, a walk-off Grand Slam.
I'm not sure if it was Mike Leake, but I know it was against the Reds.
It was definitely against the Reds for the Mets. And then came over and did it with the Pirates. 2 Grand Slams for 2 different teams in the same month. Jordy Mercer looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 2. And he bounces one toward third foul.
You could say that the first Ike Davis Grand Slam against the Reds was a walk-off.
I believe it was.
Except most likely wouldn't have been Leake. I know the second one was Leake.
Second one was.
First one. If it was a walk-off, that would be kind of strange. Not many guys going the distance, especially when they load the bases in the ninth.
Pitch to Mercer. Swing and a miss. April 7th. Walk-off win. Let's see who we got it against. Yeah, it's not common when you see a walk-off grand slam.
No. I guess it's not. It wasn't against Aroldis Chapman.
J.J. Hoover.
J.J. Hoover.
1-2. There goes Walker, and a slow roller towards short. Charging is Suarez. Throws to first, and a bang play at first. And nobody moving for the Pirates as Clint Hurdle's coming up to the top step of the dugout. Pirates might take a look at it. But Jung-Ho Kang with the big swing of the ball game. Big swing of the series with his first Major League Grand Slam. 5-1 Bucks. Game brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, we knew when the Pirates signed him, he had home run power. 40 home runs in Korea last year. Now 15 in the big leagues. This one tonight, a 384-foot grand slam. Pirates with a 5-1 lead thanks to that Point Park University tweet at the bottom of the screen with reaction to Jung-Ho's granny. Well, that's just going to feel so good for him coming through that way with the bases full.
I think he expects to do that. I honestly believe he expects to come through when the game's on the line with runners in scoring position. Maybe he doesn't expect to hit the grand slam, but he expects to drive home runs.
Clint Hurdle was talking about Jung-Ho today a little bit prior to the game, saying that he demands a lot of himself. He said sometimes you guys don't see, as Adam Duvall is pinch hitting here for the Reds against Jay Happ, so you don't see a lot of the times when he makes an out how he reacts to that. We've seen it a couple of times when he's disciplined a bat or two, but he really cares. He really works hard, expects a lot from himself, and is a special player. Biggest difference, and Jung-Ho told me this maybe a month or so ago. I asked what the biggest difference was from the game time stuff, game to game. Duvall swings and misses. He said the intensity of this game here at Major League Baseball. And Clint reiterated that story today to the press, but it's just, it's true. I mean, the intensity here compared to where he played in the KBO, every pitch means something. Whereas over there, might be able to get away with taking one off every now and then. He has adjusted, not only culturally, which you thought might be the most difficult adjustment, but he can certainly play baseball. He's adjusted there too.
What he's done is really remarkable, and I mean it's not like you're just coming out and joining a team and playing. I mean it would be so much easier for a traded player.
This one in the air to right and carrying a little bit, but won't carry enough. Polanco makes the catch on the track for out number 1.
But I could not imagine just leaving your home country, going to a foreign land where you don't speak the language, and playing at the very top, the very best baseball against the greatest players in the world. And then you come over, you're expecting to play every day like you always have been, but you're told that you're not going to get that opportunity, even though you think that you should play every day. And then you're getting adjusted to the long spring, the food, the travel. Then you're not playing regularly, and then you're expected to succeed when you do get in. I mean, it's a lot to tackle. Trying to fit in with new teammates, trying to make friends.
Well, his teammates like him a lot. He's just got terrific personality, and the guys really, really like him. They've welcomed him in from day one.
We've seen players come from Japan, pitchers that have succeeded right off the bat, position players like Ichiro. But I think it's a better brand, probably a little better brand of baseball in Japan than it is Korea.
2-1 is lifted in the air to center field. Right at McCutcheon. Hamilton's 0 for 3. And there are 2 men out for the Reds in the 6th. So Jay Happ continues to mow him down here. 8 in a row since giving up a single in the 4th inning to DeJesus. 9 strikeouts for Jay, equaling his career high. And still in good shape with 88 pitches. As we look ahead, looks like Happ's going to pitch game 2 of the doubleheader against the Cubs. Garrett Cole pitched the first game, I understand. Some kind of a trash bag on the field right over by Neil Walker. They're just sort of letting it roll. The wind is moving it. Happ just noticed it. And you think that John Tompane might, the umpire might try to grab it, but he's just going to let it go. Now Jordy Mercer's going to pick it up, and he gets a great round of applause.
That would be, we've seen some crazy things before. Can you imagine if he had a ground ball right there and it hits the bag?
Yeah.
And you have to field the ball that goes into a bag and then try to throw it across the diamond. Jordy could do that. Good athlete. He'd figure a way to make it work.
Two 2-1 pitch now to DeJesus. Fouls it back. It's 2-2. I still think one of the craziest things I've seen is last year. Martin Maldonado of the Brewers literally hit the cover off a ball that Pedro Alvarez at third base had to throw, with the seams busted open. And he looked at it and said, "What do I do with this?" And he had to throw it to first base, and the ball went all kinds of directions.
Whoa. I think Happ thought he had number 10 right there.
Well, it was in the strike zone. Looked like a good pitch. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah.
Top of the zone on the corner.
Well, 3-2 now to DeJesus. Fouled back. Two outs, full count. News out of Boston tonight, Rock. Red Sox DH David Ortiz has hit his 498th career home run.
It's pretty remarkable.
500 soon. Swing and a miss, and there is strikeout number 10. Pirates starters have back-to-back outings with double-digit strikeouts now. Last time Jay Happ had double-digit strikeouts in a game, he was pitching for the Blue Jays against the Orioles last August 7th. He had 12. He's got 10 tonight. Jung Ho Kang's grand slam has given the Pirates a 5-1 lead. Jay heading to the plate to lead off the top of the 7th inning.
Yep, so a chance to go out there for the 7th. And he'll face Burke Badenhop, 58th appearance, 1-4, 3.95 the ERA. Hardly any strikeouts, just 29 in 57 innings.
And the pitch from Badenhop to Happ is in for a strike. The last May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, Pirates starters had 3 straight games with double-digit strikeouts. Happ flies this one down the left field side, and that's out number 1 for the Pirates in the 7th inning. Maybe A.J. Burnett can make it 3 in a row again tomorrow night against the Brewers. I know a lot of folks looking forward to seeing him pitch tomorrow night.
It'll be interesting to see what A.J. has to offer, how sharp. Check out the velocity, that good breaking ball his.
A.J. not with the club right now, as starting pitchers do in nighttime getaway situations. They have the opportunity to go ahead early and get some rest, so he elected to do that. So he's back in Pittsburgh getting ready for the game tomorrow. 1 out, and Polanco takes a strike. And Clint was asked earlier today about A.J. and asked if he sensed any restlessness with him getting back into the rotation. He said nope, just focus. And a line shot right at Suarez. Polanco now 2 for 4 in the night.
Polanco's first at bat had a similar ball, hit a line drive to the right of the shortstop Suarez. He couldn't get over and make a play this time. The ball was in reach.
Still a good night for Gregory. Single double, 2 runs scored, stolen base. Marte looking to get into the hit column. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Bounce to the far end of the Pirate dugout. He's got personalized gear, doesn't he?
Yep, he does. I wonder if that ball hit him in the toe that he hit a couple of times in a game last week. It's almost the same spot. That toe is taking a beating. Got hit with a pitch, fouled a ball off it. Another one here.
Hey, Wood, right, come on, come on.
Badenhop pitching to Marte, top of the 7th inning. Pirates leading 5-1. Bouncer to short. Good hop for Suarez. And it's close play at first. Reds get the out. And the Pirates go in order. Stretch time in Cincinnati. Playoff picture. Cardinals winning earlier today. If the Pirates hang on here tonight, they'll cut it to 4.5. Cubs 7.5 back. 5-1 Buccos, bottom of the 7th inning on the UPMC scoreboard. And Jay Happ, what can you say? We've been saying it over and over for Jay Happ, start after start now, as Votto clubs one deep to right center field on the first pitch, and this one's going to be over the wall for a double. A 2-base hit for Votto. He is on base and has his 30th double of the season.
He went down and got a pitch. Happ was working him up and in. This time the ball's down middle. And Votto wasn't sure if he got enough of it. Didn't, obviously. Came up and takes a young man's hat off.
Well, that's using your head.
Obviously wasn't that young. Reaction time not as good as it once was.
He's lost a step, you're saying? Runner at second base and nobody out for Brandon Phillips. Strike one to Phillips. That's just the third hit given up by Happ tonight. Soria now getting loose for the Pirates. Happ pushing 100 pitches. Next one will be his 98th. One ball, one strike to Phillips. And Rob reporting on the Nationals and Mets. Rock, last night a collapse by the Nationals, up 7-1. They lost 8-7. A game they really can't afford to lose. As we understand, there has been another solo home run late in the game for the Mets, as there was last night. Kirk Neuenhuis had one last night to take the lead. The Mets have now tied it at 2. Kelly Johnson with his 14th of the year.
If they fall to 7 back, they lose tonight, go to 7 back. Well, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Was the 100th pitch for Happ, fouled off by Phillips. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Well, you thought the Nationals might have a chance to catch the Mets, but the Mets, in the words of Clint Hurdle, putting a foot down.
Yeah. Earlier in the year, I think the Mets could come back from any type of deficit was unlikely. The second half Mets can score some runs.
Pirates swept the season series from the Mets this year. Took all 7 games. Out west, the Dodgers seem to be in command. They had a big series recently with the Giants, ended up sweeping them. Ground ball to the right side. Ramirez grabs it. The toss to Happ gets away. Well, Ramirez tested for the first time defensively at first base. And an error allows Phillips aboard, and now 2 men on with nobody out.
Ramey comes around to get it, tries to lead Happ, and just a little too far out of his reach.
This is going to do it for Jay Happ.
Still, what a great performance. What an outstanding effort once again. Jay Happ, for the 6th straight time, just pretty much dominating his opponent.
10 strikeouts tonight for Jay Happ, a season high, and he leaves in line for the win. had been 1-3 in 6 career starts against the Reds prior to tonight. But he sailed through this one and is done after 6 1/3. Now Joakim Soria will come on with nobody out, 2 men on.
17th appearance, 3.86 ERA, and a good curveball. Right out of the gate, gets Frazier to chase.
Votto, the runner at third base after a double that bounced over the right center field wall. And Brandon Phillips reaching on an error by Aramis Ramirez on the throw to Happ. To the right field corner. And over there to get it is Polanco. Votto will tag and score. And that run will be charged to Jay Happ. Sacrifice fly for Frazier. He has driven in both Reds runs tonight. RBI number 80 for Frazier.
Jay Happ so will end up giving up 2 earned runs, which is a whole lot for him, considering he's only given up 2 in his last 5 starts.
Reaction at the bottom of your screen on Twitter. Jay's performance tonight. Jay Bruce fouls it off. It goes back off to our left up here. No balls and a strike to Jay Bruce. Cervelli and Soria trying to get on the same page. Well, when the Pirates acquired Jay Happ at the deadline, I'm not sure if a lot of Pirates fans did cartwheels or not. Probably said, "Oh, really?" But then now, you see what he's been able to do. In his first start, remember that one? It was not a good one, and he'd be the first to tell you. But since then, he has been unbeatable.
Yeah, every now and again, every time you get it, add a piece, you look at the numbers right away, and then you're like, oh, those aren't great. But you can never question Neil Huntington and his staff.
Jung Ho might have a play. He does. So Bruce is out.
So obviously the Pirates had eyes on Jay Happ and saw the stuff was still there, that he was still capable of getting major league hitters out.
When you look at the pitchers that were moved at the trading deadline, Rock, maybe other than David Price with the Blue Jays,
well, nobody's done better than him.
Jay Happ has been up there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's done.
No, I mean, Price has been
Jay Happ. And it'll be, obviously we got season left and hopefully a long postseason. And we'll see where the plans are right now. I mean, the way he's pitched, you got to think of him as your third guy, as we speak at least.
Shortstop Eugenio Suarez, 1-0 pitch in for a strike. Suarez 0 for 2. Soria trying to get the Pirates to the bat rack in the top of the 8th inning, up 5-2. Soria, another one of those deadline acquisitions that has stretched things out in the bullpen.
Good job by Cervelli there. He had to go a long ways out there to block that breaking ball. And this ball bounces in that left-handed batter's box. And not only gets out there in front of it, gets his body positioned to where it doesn't bounce too far away, right in front of him.
Suarez out on strikes. 1 run on 1 hit. There was an error and a man left. We'll go to the 8th. 5-2 Bucks.
yesterday, I should say, the Miami Marlins announced the hiring of Mark Del Piano as the Vice President of Player Development. He leaves the Pirates, where he was a special assistant to General Manager Neil Huntington, and Neil discussed the move earlier today with the media.
Part of our obligation and responsibility is to help people grow personally and professionally, and to meet their professional and personal goals, whether those are here. Hopefully they will be, but in the cases where they're not, then it's bittersweet, but we wish them the best as they move forward, and then we do the best we can to backfill with another talented and quality person that we can help grow into bigger roles and responsibilities.
So you hear a lot of stuff, Tim and John, about the guys that work for Neil Huntington. You hear about Kyle Stark and Greg Smith, the assistant GMs, but there are so many other guys behind the scenes that have helped organize this winning culture and help push it forward. Don't be surprised if this continues. Now other teams are starting to take notice about the way the Pirates do things. This may be something that hopefully it doesn't become a trend for the Pirates, but it's also a credit to the organization that they think so highly of Neil and his executives.
Well, I guess, Robbie, that's what happens when you turn around an organization. People look at the Pirates organization. They say, how did they do it? We need to do this. How do we do it? And so, it's I guess comes with the territory.
I think it's very hard to move on if from an organization if you're not part of a good team or a great team or a winning team. And so obviously with the Pirates, the more they win, I think the more other teams are going to look within the organization for help.
Jumbo Diaz pitching to Andrew McCutchen to start the 8th inning. 50th appearance for Jumbo. His given name is Jose, but he likes Jumbo. Two 2-0 to McCutchen. He was walked in the 6th inning and get to ride home for free on the grand slam by Jung Ho Gun. Cutch drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to center field in the 1st. Struck out looking in the 4th. Two balls and a strike, and Gung waiting to come up. He'll bat 3rd this inning. McCutchen agreed with that, judging from his expression.
Jumbo Diaz, hard thrower. Pretty good location. If you're going to get behind in the count, you don't want to throw it down the middle. And he pretty much painted the outside corner. 2-0 and 2-1.
McCutchen down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight.
And 2-2, he comes right there, middle. 97. And a rare sight that is, to see Andrew swing through a fastball over the heart of the plate. Any fastball for that matter.
McCutchen not too happy. Ramirez with a base hit and a run scored in the 6th. Now, is he upset at the strikeout, or is he upset at the pitch that he thought was a ball that was called a strike? Is that what happens to you? Sometimes you can get upset about a pitch 2 pitches earlier.
A lot of things can get hitters upset.
High to center field. Hamilton backpedaling, still backpedaling. He'll make the catch on the warning track, and Ramirez is out.
My guess, though, by his reaction after strike 2, he wasn't real happy with the strike call. But then again, he doesn't swing and miss at many fastballs. He might be upset with coming up empty.
Jung Ho in the 6th came up with the bases loaded and did this. A 2-2 pitch. Hammered it for his first career grand slam. That put the Pirates up 5-1. One for 3 tonight. He's homered in back-to-back ball games. He'll ground out to Frazier, and the Pirates go in order in the top half of the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Buccos. 5-2 the score.
the Pittsburgh Pirates, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Nissan Road ahead tomorrow. Game 1 of a 4-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers. A.J. Burnett makes his return to the rotation. He will oppose Willie Peralta. Then Friday, Jimmy Nelson against Charlie Morton, Jeff Locke, and Zach Davies on Saturday. Don't blink. Davies works quick. Taylor Youngman and Francisco Liriano Sunday afternoon. That's the next 4 games for the Pirates, the probable pitching matchups. Tony Watson takes over in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Pirates, facing Jason Bourgeois, pinch hitter. And a drizzle that started last inning is getting a little heavier here late in the ball game.
3-1, a 2.02 ERA. Great work once again from Tony Watson.
Bourgeois batting in the 8th. Sean Rodriguez takes over defensively at first base. One to Bourgeois. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Tony hoping to make quick work of these Reds in the bottom of the 8th inning. High and tight, and a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Watson pitched a scoreless 8th Sunday night at Busch Stadium against the Cardinals. Striking out one of the 3 batters he faced. Now it's 3-2.
So used to Tony Watson coming in, pounding that strike zone, a little erratic his first 5 pitches here.
The precipitation getting just a little bit heavier. Not really affecting the guys on the field at this point. And a ground ball to the right side. That's a base hit. Jason Bourgeois with a leadoff single in the bottom of the 8th inning. Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. As I understand, Rock, this couple went to 6 different sports bars around New York to try to find the Pirates game.
Really?
Yep, and they finally did. You kind of see it in the background there, but they were in a search. They searched hard, and they finally came up with a ball game. Those guys don't even notice the rain. Brian Pena to pinch hit in the 9 spot for Cincinnati. Switch hitting catcher takes a strike, sometimes a first baseman. 279 on the season. Bourgeois the runner at first base and nobody out. This ball is fouled away. You'd have to think that Pena might be a double play candidate. He's grounded into 9 of them this year. Oh-2. The ground ball to third. It's off the glove of Jung Ho and into left field. Bourgeois around second. He'll head to third. And into second base is Pena. He is hobbling into third and reaching for his right hamstring.
Might as well limp off. Wait for time called. They're going to come out, but there's no sense of him even sticking around the base. He can barely put weight on that right leg. A wicked hop. Watch this hop on Jung Ho. Man, there's nothing you could do. That's almost at his head. We saw a play earlier where the ball stayed down on him this time, and that's just bad luck.
Right about there. The banjo string got tighter. One of the more frustrating injuries for a baseball player.
Most likely, I would assume if he pulled it shorten his season.
So the Reds need a pinch runner at second base. And Ryan LeMaire will go out. LeMaire spent the year AAA. He is now at second base, so 2 on and nobody out. And Tony Watson now facing the tying run. Pirates with a 5-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Billy Hamilton takes low and in. Pirates need to get an out somewhere. The dirt, and it's 2-0. Tony gives up the leadoff single to Bourgeois. The hit to Pena. And now falls behind Hamilton 2-0. Three and 0. And one pitch away would put the tying run on base.
Tony Watson, we always talk about there's certain hitters that really like to hit in certain ballparks, and I'm sure certain pitchers like pitching in certain ballparks. And Tony Watson, his career numbers against the Reds is a little over 3, and his seems like his ERA every year is under 2. Picked up a loss earlier this year on a home run. 386 career here at Great American.
And he's walked Hamilton. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. Ray's going to have to come out and have a word or 2 or 3 as Tony's pitched himself into a big-time jam, putting the tying run on base.
You still like his chances. Tony Watson's so good. He's been in and out of jams. He's been so successful, and one of the top setup men in all of baseball, one of the top lefty relievers in all of baseball. Just you could kind of tell his first batter, Bourgeois, his first handful of pitches to him. He went into a 3-2 count, but they were kind of sprayed around. He had some help. Bourgeois swung at a couple pitches out of the zone. And walking a guy like Hamilton, who doesn't walk a whole lot.
Obviously, the Pirates are concerned with the guy at the plate, De Jesus, who's 1 for 3 tonight, but it's the guy on deck you also have to have in the back of your mind somewhere, and Joey Votto. Oakland activating the bullpen. Watson will face De Jesus. Nobody out, bases full, 5-2. A strike is called. One for 5 this season with the bases loaded. 1 for 8 in his career.
This would be the ideal time for a double play ball.
0-1 pitch from Watson. And a ball fouled off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes. Jared Hughes getting set. Ground ball specialist. Give the thumbs up just then. He must be heated up quickly.
Good waste there, trying to get the chase upstairs. You wouldn't expect to see Hughes come in until that man finishes his at bat. I'm sure Watson will be looked at to get out of this altogether. You hope you can get him. Get the Jesus here, then Votto. hurdle. I think he only goes to Hughes if Watson gives up another hit or walk, but not until after Votto's AB.
1 ball, 2 strike pitch from Tony. Again fouled off by DeJesus. Antonio Bastardo getting up. Pirates with 2 warming. Jared looks like he's ready. Three-run lead for the Pirates. Bottom of the 8th. Nobody out. Bases full. Watson, the pitch to Ivan DeJesus Jr. 2-2. There's the 20th pitch for Watson. Well, the Reds trying to get something going here late. Watson trying to shut it down. 2-2. It's popped up. That'll be in foul ground. Rodriguez still chasing after it, and he does not make the catch.
So close. And, looked like it got right off the pinky finger of that glove. Just wouldn't stay in. He got a piece of it. Would have been a great catch if he could have held on.
There's the foul ball for DeJesus. Still battling Watson with a 2-2 count on him. In the air to right center and deep. Back it goes, and Polanco makes the catch. Bourgeois will tag. It's a sacrifice fly. It's now 5-3. A very scary moment here. But the ballpark barely held it, and Polanco makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, that's a big exhale right there. It's a good thing a little man hit it. I mean, it looked like off the bat it definitely had a chance up out over the plate. DeJesus thought maybe he got enough. This little ballpark, it doesn't take a big man to hit it out the opposite way, but Polanco with a few feet to spare.
Watson facing Votto. Ball one inside.
Pirates have pitched Votto up and in pretty much the entire game. Happ got him to strike out a couple of times, his first 2 times to the plate.
And the breaking ball in there for a strike. Votto is 4 for 15 against Watson, hitting .267 against Tony. Tony has struck him out 4 times.
Votto, as far as what he likes to hit, he gets on the plate, but he likes the ball away. Hits very well on the balls away, middle away, up and in is where you get him out. That's where he has struggled the most.
Strike on the corner.
He was upset with an earlier strike call that was borderline away, and this time not happy with this call either. You can see why. He got worked up in an earlier bat, and the ball was on the corner.
And Votto's been thrown out, and there goes the helmet and the bat. And now Votto in the face of Bill Welke. This is the second time we've seen Votto run from a game this year against the Pirates. And Votto is red hot.
He's like a crazy person.
Laz Diaz trying to hold him back.
I mean, this is a situation, you have a 2-run ball game, the tying runs on base, and he gets himself thrown out of the ball game. And again, the pitch he was complaining about earlier in the game was a strike.
That's only a big call, a favorable call for the Pirates. You get ahead to count 1 and 2, but you take one of the elite hitters out of the baseball game. And you know Price is going to get thrown out. He's kind of calm now, but at some point in time, he's going to get heated up, and he's going to go as well.
Looks like it's getting closer. When the Pirates and Reds had their skirmish here the last time the Pirates were in Cincinnati, Votto was thrown out. They could have used him late as a pinch hitter. He wasn't in the lineup that day, so it affected the team then. Certainly could affect the team here tonight. He gets thrown out during his at bat, and now Brian Price is gone too.
No surprise.
They're asking him to leave since he's been thrown out, but Brian wants to continue. So that'll do it for Brian Price. Well, Votto started talking right after the call. He started kicking the dirt around and making his point to Milwaukee. For time, please. It looked like Rock, he was asking for time and Milwaukee wasn't giving it to him. Doesn't have to, but he asked and he even said please twice.
I mean, why? What do you mean time? You get time when you're set and you want to step out is when you get time. He takes half an hour to get in the box in between pitches, especially after he gets called on a borderline pitch. You don't get time. This isn't football.
Well, this ball hit in the air to short right field. Polanco will play it on a hop. Ramon Cabrera in there to finish the at bat for Votto. And now the bases are loaded again with one out. So Cabrera, fresh off the bench, just puts a swing on that pitch from Watson and knocks it in the grass in right field. And the tying runs in scoring position. Go-ahead runs on base for Brandon Phillips.
Well, look at that pitch. Down and almost out of the strike zone.
First career hit from Ramon Cabrera. And it loads the bases in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That's the last righty off the bench for the Reds. And man, what a crazy circumstance to come into a ball game and ended up coming through with a base hit.
So Brandon Phillips will now face Watson. 5-3 the score. And it's ball one.
You have to wonder, you know, the Pirates' back end of the bullpen. Over the last week, 10 days, just haven't had a lot of work, either because of losses or blowout wins. And whether that inactivity has Watson off a bit.
A little ground ball to the right side. Watson flips to first to get the out. Reds score again. It's a one-run game. Well, Phillips gets the run in with a ground ball out.
And this right here will be an interesting decision. Tony Watson against Todd Frazier. Frazier hit a big 3-run homer against Watson here, opening series. As you see the swinging bunt right off the end of the bat. Stays fair. Watson takes his time, makes a nice play, easy flip. And now does Frazier get to swing it? No.
He will not. They're going to walk Frazier with first base open and 2 outs to get to Jay Bruce. A 5-4 ball game. This was a 5-1 game at one point. And the Reds just keep chipping away. Votto and manager Brian Price have been ejected this inning. And there's ball 4. Now the bases are loaded. Tony Watson's at 32 pitches. And Jay Bell, former Pirate, is the acting manager. He's the bench coach. So he has taken over for Price the rest of this game. And Clint Hurdle with Tony Watson on the hill. 1 for 18 against Tony Watson is Bruce. There's a swing and a miss. Bruce tonight 0 for 3. Using the start already in the pen. 0-1 delivery. And strike 2.
You're in a pretty good spot. Pitches to waste.
And also, the runner at third base is Hamilton, so anything that might even be in the dirt, get away from Cervelli a little bit, he might try it. Pitch number 35 for Tony Watson. The 0-2 to Bruce. 1-2. Foul ball and stays 1-2. Bruce popped up to Ramirez in the second inning. He struck out swinging in the fifth. And popped out foul to Jung Ho in the seventh.
Tony staying with the fastball.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Did he go? Yes, he did, says third base umpire James Hoy. The fire was burning, but it is out as Bruce goes down swinging. It's now a 1-run game in Cincinnati. And insurance is now needed. Tony Watson with a real rough inning. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. But he gets Jay Bruce here with the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Yep, set up for that slider, and fastball, 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 fastball. There you see the look that the umpire has down at third base, and no question he offered it that.
Jay Bruce back out to right field. Pedro Villarreal on the hill now. One of a number of changes that the Reds have had to make.
27th appearance, 1-3, 3.45 ERA. Just 25 punch-outs and 47 innings of work. 6 long balls. Nice to get a long ball here. Get one of those runs back.
Jason Bourgeois goes into left field. Stays in the game, and Ron DeJesus Jr. is now at first base for Votto. And Ramon Cabrera now back behind the plate. So Villarreal pitching to Neil Walker. Neil swings and misses. So the Reds have cut into this 4-run lead. Now a 1-run lead in the 9th. Cardinals came back to beat the Cubs today 4-3. That was the game affecting the standings the most today. Pirates need to hang on and win this one, so they'll be 4.5 starting that series tomorrow night with Milwaukee.
A lot of work.
Yeah. Extended inning for Tony. Well, Villarreal now looking in for a sign from Cabrera. Fouled back. A big difference in the Pirates' record as compared to the Reds. Record in 1-run games as Melanson starts to loosen up. Pirates have the highest winning percentage in Major League Baseball in 1-run games. 66% of the time they'll win a 1-run game. They're 29-15. The Reds have the 3rd lowest winning percentage in 1-run games. They're 17-27, winning 37% of the time.
Walker battling here at 0-2. He's about to turn the big 3-0 tomorrow, huh?
Yes, sir. Oh, 2 to Walker. He shares a birthday with Joey Votto. Votto will be 32 tomorrow if he calms down.
Yeah, control that blood pressure.
The older you get, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
And Walker pops it up. Middle of the infield. Brandon Phillips will call for it. There's one out for the Pirates in the 9th. So one gone for the Bucks. And after tonight's game, the Pirates return home to kick off a 4-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Our coverage starts tomorrow at 6:30 with Pirates pregame, presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. A.J. Burnett will return to the rotation. He's 8-5. He'll face the Brewers' Willie Peralta, another right-hander. He's 5-8. Get back home. Cervelli will take a strike from Villarreal. Yeah, the Pirates have played, let's see, 4-game series in Miami, then home for 3, and back out for 9. And a lot of time on the road lately. Be good to get back to PNC Park tomorrow night. Make your plans to head on out there. If you can't be there, be here for sure. Every game big now, from now to the end of the regular season. 4 with the Brewers, and then a day off, and then a double header with the Cubs. A 4-game series starting on the 15th with the Twin Bill. Reds fans grumbling down below.
They want everything to be called a strike.
Well, for a while in the game, everything was early. A 1-out base is empty, 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Cervelli. 2-2. Cervelli without a hit tonight. He has reached base with a walk. That was in the second inning. And Jordy Mercer also hasn't been on base. He's 0 for 3. He's waiting on deck. Ball 3, 3-2.
Hey, come on, Wood.
He want to check that swing, but Cervelli barely moved the bat. Wearing his sunglasses at night.
It's a good look. Payoff pitch from Villarreal. And Cervelli loops it into left center field. A base hit. One out single for Cervelli. Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Good look at the rotation of the baseball and the swing by Cervelli. Had to go out and get it.
Yeah, protecting that outside corner as he does so well. Stays back long enough. Is that ball right off the end of the bat?
A 1 out, 1 on. Mercer up. Strike 1. Michael Morse is in the on deck circle. He would hit for Tony Watson. Jordy's due. There goes Cervelli. And Mercer, base hit. Cervelli around second to third. A perfectly executed hit and run.
What a great call by Clint Hurdle, putting on the hit and run. And Brandon Phillips has been around forever. He has been around for so long. How is he covering the bag right here? If Francisco Cervelli's breaking for second to steal a base, it's a hit and run. Francisco Cervelli doesn't steal bases. So if you're the second baseman and Francisco Cervelli takes off, you better switch up your defense. You're not covering the bag because it's an obvious hit and run situation. I mean, to me, that's a bad decision between the two middle infielders and who's covering the bag. But to the credit of Clint Hurdle, Jordy Mercer, perfectly executed. Big opportunity here.
And Morris breaks his bat, rolls it toward the middle. There's 1 and there's 2. Double play ball. The 2 hits, nothing to show for it. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Mark Melancon trying to close it out for the Bucs. Leads. Take a look at our Chick-fil-A double play off the bat, or what's left of the bat, of Michael Morse.
Just a routine double play ball. Curious decision leading up to the Chick-fil-A double play. Clint Hurdle had a lot of options on that bench and must have had a hunch to go with Michael Morse over several left-handers and Josh Harrison.
Harrison in the game now at second base. And Mark Melancon on the hill.
Melancon looking for that 44th save. 3-1, a 212 earned run average. Excellent work as always. He had a bit of a layoff too until last night. Came in, got some work.
Trevor Rosenthal of the Cardinals tied him today with his 43rd save against the Cubs. So Mark focused and facing Eugenio Suarez. 3 outs to get. Bottom of the order up. And Melancon's first pitch to the Reds shortstop is in for a strike call. So Jay Happ, an outstanding effort tonight. Another great start for him. Jung Ho Kang with his first career grand slam. And Melancon pitching in a 1-run game here. And Suarez fouls this back, and it's strike 2, 0-2.
Big curveball from Melancon. Down goes Suarez.
Guarding the line is Jung Ho Kang. Suarez mentioned it earlier in the game, but last night 4 strikeouts, and he came up with a 2-run triple in the bottom of the 9th. One-two pitch. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Jason Bourgeois, who had a hit off of Watson in the 8th inning. Ball 3 high. Count is full to Suarez. Well, Melancon worked in the game last night, as you mentioned, Rock, 2/3 of an inning. Couldn't finish the inning. Ended up being tagged for 3 runs as he had to bang the rust off after not working for 9 days. 3-2 pitch. And a one-hopper to Harrison. From the outfield grass, he throws him out. Suarez is out, 1 gone for the Reds in the bottom of the 9th.
Nice pitch. Nice play by Jay.
Jason Bourgeois, the batter. 1 for 1. .236 on the season for Bourgeois. He'd been playing center field regularly while Hamilton was on the disabled list. Hamilton got the start tonight after returning from his rehab in AAA. Strike to Bourgeois. We talked earlier about Mark's routine, a guy who just does everything the same every day. Tries to maintain his focus. Oh, 1 foul back, and he gets ahead 0-2.
Got away with some location there, did Mark Melancon. And you wonder, I mean, the thoughts as far as, you know, having such a long layoff, and you see there on the strike zone that last pitch. That's a great location for that curveball. Not only did you think he got the swing, check out the pitch, the location.
It's a strike, and it's not called.
Check wasn't that. He didn't go as far as I thought, but obviously Cervelli going down to his knees. You're not going to get many calls. Big overhand curveball for Melancon.
Skip Schumacher has a bat. He's on the on-deck circle. He would pinch hit.
Another 3-2 count.
Well, Mark needs a strike right now, needless to say. Payoff pitch. Fouled off.
Yeah, we're used to Mark when so many times he comes in to finish off a game and he's just dotting the ball, putting it right wherever he wants it. He's so good at keeping it down, keeping it on the edges. See, kind of up in the zone. One in the middle, you rarely see that.
3-2 is high, ball 4. The tying run is aboard in the bottom of the 9th. Schumacher will now hit. Mark was able to get first hitter to ground out. And then walks Bourgeois. So 1 on and 1 out for the Reds in the bottom of the 9th inning. .220 for Schumacher. There's the pitch. Strike on the corner. You can bet, John, that right now a bunch of folks from Chicago, a bunch of folks from the Midwest tuned in, and they're not rooting for the guys in black and gold.
No, they're not.
Oh, and 1 the count to Schumacher. Now it's 0-2. Mark got that one right past him. He's been ahead 0-2 on each of the hitters he's faced so far. Ended up losing Bourgeois. Didn't lose Suarez, as Suarez bounced out to Harrison.
Melanson has always been tougher on left-handed batters than righties.
And a looper right to Mercer. A soft line drive. And now the Reds down to their final out.
That good cutter gets in on the hands of lefties. It's hard for them to get barrel to it. And that's a little jam shot, perfectly placed. Look at the location of those 3 pitches. Lefties now under. They were 149 against Melanson, batting average against before that at bat. Righties 285.
So the last hope for the Reds tonight is the speedster Billy Hamilton. Hamilton 0 for 3. He did walk in the 8th inning. So 2 outs. And Bourgeois the runner at first base. And that one inside to Hamilton. One and 0. Hamilton a switch hitter batting lefty. So Gagnon on the grass at third. Ball, 1 strike. And Mark would love a strikeout right here. Taken out any way he can get it, but probably prefer the strikeout. Two down, bottom of the 9th inning, a 5-4 Pirate lead. Looking to take this series against the Reds. Long pause by Mark, and Hamilton gets time.
The traditional timeout in baseball. Batter calls for it.
Two and 1. Let's see where this one was.
Big curveball. Borderline.
Melanson's 2-1 to Billy Hamilton. It's now 3-1. Does not want to walk him. That would push the tying run into scoring position. You got DeJesus waiting. DeJesus had a sacrifice fly last time up. Well, Pirates fans hoping it ends here. 3-1. 3-2. Count full. And Bourgeois will take off with this next pitch.
Hamilton taking all the way. Took one right down the middle.
Melanson against Hamilton. 3-ball, 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The Buccos hang on and beat the Reds 5-4 for their 83rd win of the season. And Melanson retakes the major league lead in saves. Jay Happ, his 5th win with the Pirates. Jung Ho Kang, his first career grand slam tonight. Hit it in the 6th inning. And what a night for Jung Ho and the rest of the Pirates.
Yes, a little drama late. You know, you can exhale now, but the story of this game, Jay Happ once again, very, very impressive. Pretty much dominating this Reds lineup like he has his last 5 starts. And then Jung Ho, that one swing of the bat, you know, the Reds are sitting there hoping to get ground ball double play where you scored none. Jung Ho Kang hits one into the seats, the grand slam, the difference maker. Big win, big series win here in Cincinnati.
Well, the Pirates win the last 2 series of this road trip over the Cardinals and here over the Reds. They'll head home to take on the Brewers starting tomorrow night. 5-4 final score. Pirates win it. Let's go back to Pittsburgh. Rob King and Ken